Here we go, everybody. Episode 1 in the day in the life of a precision farming technician. Got a customer here, MX240. Went ahead and bought a new to him Kinsey planter, and he wants to run it. We got the Integra monitor here that we're going to be installing, and the cables are already on the planter, so we just got to tie those together. Going to also port GPS from his FM1000 that he's got in the cab and get it ready for spring planting 2024. First thing we're going to do, come over here. Monitor obviously needs power source, so we're getting into the battery here. We're going to take this off and get the cables in and get them routed underneath the cab here to the back so we could split it off. We should have the ag leader cable here already, their implement cable. We'll put this on and get it tied in and get it set up. The power and ground studs loose. I don't know if these will let me take them off by my fingers yet. There we go. Went ahead and grabbed my wrench. The bolt wants to spin on here. And I grabbed our old style power cable here. And we'll get ran to the back and underneath. Stuck on there. Go ahead and get this cable tucked underneath here with the rest of them. Try to get it to look as factory as we can get it. Got our fuse holders here. That all looks good. Next step will be take this cable, run it back underneath there, and hopefully come out backside underneath here. We will make sure we keep it on the inside of the cab mount here. Okay, got the cable coming out the back, so go ahead, start putting the zip ties on here just to keep everything secure and out of the way. I don't know if zip ties with one hand's gonna go very well. Make sure I got plenty of slack underneath. Get that secured there, and then I'll try to get it underneath here to where you don't see that and it's secured up. Go ahead, get these clipped. And then we can go ahead, put our battery cover back on. Okay, here we have just our simple legacy standalone cable for the monitor. Obviously this plug is the one that goes to that one right there to plug in for the implement. And this is the one I just ran underneath. So on our harness here, here's where we implement, plug in, and then right here this 4-pin will go right into here for power. That should get us power for a monitor and our modules that we got back on the. So go ahead, tidy this all up, and then this end is the one obviously going to run in and plug it into the back of the Integra, and then we'll just have to work with our GPS cable after that. Here, it's plugged in all the way. So here we got our implement plug in. And obviously we'll zip tie this up, make it look pretty, and open the window so we can get that inside the cab. cab here. So we got the Trimble FM1000 here, and then we got our rail ready to go on this side for our Integra. Got a main plug right here. It only plugs into the one connection that's got the pins on the back of the monitor. And we should be able to test it, make sure we got battery power. I'll show you guys over here. And here's our GPS plug-in. Okay, so the 12 pin Deutsch that we got here, we'll go to the back of the FM1000. And this one is the 9-pin serial male and female. These coming apart. And then go ahead and get the cables cleaned up. Make sure we leave enough slack so we can move the monitor around if it needs to be adjusted. This planner, this Kinsey planner, is only going to be doing the planner monitoring module. So it's just got a PMM on it. And basically it's just going to see the C tubes and tell us how the planner's doing. It's ground driven. Try to put these two cables together. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and pull this tractor out, and then we'll start everything up and make sure we got everything updated. We'll go through the setup, port the GPS out, and make sure we're going to be ready to go for spring planting. we'll go ahead, get the monitors turned on and get them started firing up, get GPS, and then we'll go through the setup, make sure everything's working. Okay, so now we're in here. We want to go ahead and make sure we got GPS coming over here from the FM1000. So I'll go ahead and just on the Integra here, go to our satellite settings. Steering, the Integra's not doing any steering, so I'm going to leave that on manual guidance. The receiver, you can leave it on auto detect. I like to choose what we're using, so I went to serial, and then we'll just have to watch the GPS icon up here. Move over to the FM1000, we'll go wrench and screwdriver. We'll go to our GPS receiver setup. Make sure we're on our correct signal, which we're going to use WAS, GPS output, A on the 1000. Go ahead and we'll change this to A. Message rate, we want to go as high as we can go, 5 Hertz. Baud rate, you could do 19.2 or 38,000. I usually leave it at 19.2 when we're doing 5 Hertz. And then we go over to our NEMA messages. GGA needs to be on, VTG needs to be on. I do know if you're running a 2020, you can turn this on. Don't have to do that here. Hit OK. Hit OK again. So we'll go ahead, get into our field. Looks like we do have signal on the FM1000. Yep, we're good there. And yep, if we look up here at this, we can see we got our green satellite. So I know that we're good there. So that's how you can port GPS from your FM1000. Alright, so next we want to make the configuration here for the Kinsey. So go ahead, I have a test one put in here right now, so go ahead and make a new one. We'll hit our wrench in the top corner, and we'll hit our plus button. It'll come up here, we want to go to planting, and then it'll come up, we got test that I just made tractor and planter right now. Let's hit the plus button here, make. Case IH, model MX 240 for vehicle. Rear drawbar, so this is the distance obviously, and it tells you here from the rear axle to the following locations. And it is in inches, so I put just 2 feet in for that one. Here's just what you want to name for your vehicle. Okay, here's the different offsets from the antenna that you could put in, and we're just porting GPS from here over to this, so I will get out and change those later. Here's where we put our implement in, so go ahead and hit the plus button. Type is going to be planter. Our make is Kinsey. And our model's 3600. Attachment type, you got rear drawbar if you got a 2-point or 3-point. Application point, so this is from the front to the back of where you're putting your seat down. And since we're just going to be mapping and we're not unfolding it today, so I'm just going to put a number in. Okay, here's where we set up the planter monitoring for the seed tubes. So it has the Kinsey PMM. We do have split rows since there's corn and bean rows on it. We do not have clutches, and we're not using any downforce. Seed rate controller, this is ground driven, so you can add one, but we're going to leave it at no controller. Number of rows, this one is a 32. Split front and back. Change our row spacing to 15. 40-foot swath. Implement sections, we're not using any clutches or anything, so we'll just leave the whole planter as one. If you had a liquid or granular application with one of the modules from Ag Leader, this is where we'd add that, since we don't have one. There's our implement name if we'd like to change it. And there's our configuration put together. Primary source, we'll leave at display. GPS, we're not using any backup, so we'll go ahead and leave that there. There's our entire configuration name that you'll load every time you're gonna plant with this planter, and it should add it to our list over here. I already went ahead, went to product, and I hit the plus button and added our test, but this is where we would put in our hybrids and varieties. Back up at the top here, we'll hit test, change it to our Case IH with the Kinsey. Make sure you got your planter monitor checked. Got it all check marked here. And then to get into the map, we'll select our event, growing season, put in the grower farm field. Here's where we can put in our varieties. I already got a test soybean. If you wanted to add one, we just obviously hit the plus sign. Different regions, just leave that at 1. And then he's got the seed tubes unplugged because they're doing work on the planter, so that's why this warning page is coming up. Alright guys, went ahead, put the tractor and planter back here, and we'll be back out here when they go to get using it and put seed tubes back in, make sure all that works. And we're gonna head to the next one.